So next, consider data migration challenges. Moving large volumes of data to the cloud can introduce issues with latency, integrity and compliance. Tools and phased approach can help minimize disruption during transfer. So this is basically doing the same thing we just talked about doing with the application with the data. In other words, if we're going to move it into the cloud environment, the migration is going to occur. How is it going to happen? Does it need to be restructured? How do we deal with compliance and security on this new environment? And then putting a plan in place to carry that out. Many data migrations are going to be straightforward. In other words, they're just moving data from A to A, from a platform and then to an analog of that platform in the cloud. Databases, for example, you can certainly find MySQL databases on-prem, and you're just find an analog, in this case MySQL in the cloud, or some kind of a compatible database. However, many cases it's not that simple. You have to figure out how the data is going to have to be changed and restructured to accommodate some of the capabilities of the cloud environment, also align with the data. In other words, if the data is coupled to the applications, in many cases they are, you can't just refactor the application and not change the data. There has to be some consideration of the impact of the data as you move to the cloud environment.